seat on the table. You know that the master chair was reserved for him, and in that he taught me how to use the fork and knife. You know, he was so. I always used to forget that how we take the spoon and the fork and the knife, three things.
They met, and when he had to use wheelchair or something, somebody will go to his house, take him to the breakfast venue and bring it back. And he became younger every time. He just kept 2 months. I'm sort of like, I think the voice is going to
It is for the laptop.
I'm one bad junior Captain. He's actually started while going for a walk in NCL compound. I used to see him go for a walk, and I used to go, and for quite a few times he didn't recognize me, but I knew who he was. Then one day I kind of stopped him. Now to expect him to remember while going for a walk. Hundreds of cadets that have passed while he was there. But correct, yes. And that time onwards, we kind of said hi and hello to each other. Breakfast group was formed, and over the last 10 years, he was picked up, taken to our breakfast meet, brought back, and he was most willing and looking forward to this meet. And he used to say that now my batteries are charged for 1 more month, and I'm looking forward to the next meeting. He was jovial, never complained,
लोगों ने सर वो
always cheerful,
में आ रहे हैं स्पीकर व्यू पे है ना सर वो
and he has definitely some interest still in the shipping, in the sense that what is happening to training, why has shore institutions come up, why isn't there a training ship, are the officers coming out of training ships, were they better, or the ones who are coming out from the shore institutions? Our answer was definitely no, so that didn't need to be specified. We enjoyed his company, we loved him, we'll miss him. Thank you so much. Good evening to all of you. I'm Direct Entry 79, SCI, so I did not come across him as a trainer or as a captain superintendent or something. But after we passed the second mates, there were no jobs. So somebody then suggested me that you go and meet so and so people. So I met Captain Gore also when he used to be in Pune, and then took some advice guidance from him. So similarly, I happened to
go to Capt. Kothurkar in Jahaj Bhavan. And then I mentioned to him that so and so person has referred to me and I should seek some guidance from him. So he did give me some guidance, some hope, somewhere. He personally could not place me anywhere, but at the same time he gave me the guidance that don't lose heart. There will be some openings and something will be positive looking at it. So that was some contribution to me. And then we could time the odd activity, odd times, and as a tribute, I prepared one greeting card for him. The remembrance card for him, which I will read out. As Captain Subedar also few days back wrote on our group, गधों को घोड़ा बनाने वाला आर्मी चले गया. So I would be अनेक रोपट्यांना वाढवण्यासाठी तळमळ करणाऱ्या वृक्षाचे पान आता मात्र गळून टाकले. Leaf of that tree which gave support to so many saplings finally fell down, but the memories last forever. We miss you, Smarty. CMM Pune. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, besides in my own capacity as a principal of NANET, Mother Academy of Naval Education and Training, I've been informed to come here and say a few words. On this occasion, I can only say that those who have been in contact, like wonderful memories, it's really a big blessing. But many have also only heard about him, and we draw a lot of inspiration from him. And as very rightly said in just one sentence by Captain Subedar the other day, that the multi so what more it is. It's sad, but this wonderful inspiration from his personal life. So, so what my God, it might be so.
So Babu called me somewhere in June 96. Explained about everything because from our family there is no one in Ashwin as such. Then he gave me a couple of references, Java, Tricolor. So from June till he tested me how confident and how eager you are to join. He checked me before giving me some strong
SMARTIE आए हैं अर्जुन SMARTIE केला नहीं है पूजा if you was ever told what to do you would have told तो SMARTIE फोन बंद करना
अभी बाहर जाएंगे तो बंद हो जाएगा ऑफिस में
okay
Captain Khare, along with us as the founder of the breakfast group, has already talked about the breakfast. One thing I would like to specifically mention about SMARTIE, SMARTIE had no favorites. Can anybody in his career name a person who was close to SMARTIE? Nobody. Everybody was close to him, but he had no favorites. That was his classic thing of leadership. Thank you.
He's
Just put your phones on silent so that you are not embarrassed. Mr. Anybody else? Ajay?
silent was
Good evening, everybody. My short one remembrance of SMARTIE. I think we were in our second term on the Duffin, and for some reason, the laundry bags that we used to have, the laundry was not put the way it's supposed to be put along with the chit, what clothes are put over there. This gentleman gave a lecture on how to load your laundry bag for 1 hour, and in such a beautiful way. I tell you, his command over the language of English was so good, and his thinking was so clear. So many takeaways from him. That simple thing about a laundry bag that sticks out in my mind about SMARTIE. Thank you.
I'll tell you something what he did when he was 95
Anybody else here?
tell him about that what you told me let's take the Shraddhanjali. I put it off so can you put it on
तो जो गुरु स्तोत्र एक होता है अनेक जन्म संप्राप्य कर्म बंध विदाहिने आत्म ज्ञान प्रदाने तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि हम हमारे बैच को तो 80 to 83 was कैप्टन सुब्रमण्यम जिस किस्म के मैसेजेस आते गए हमारे फोरम में that showed that the respect for teacher was abundant. Thank you very much.
can we take the mic to him
yeah.
this is like Papa.
नहीं त्याच्यावर की he'll sit on that.
Hello.
And Paran Street, within Paran Street,
Once people hear
1961, 63. 61, 63 batch. The day I joined, on the very first day, as we sat down for lunch, Captain Kothurkar, well, he was Mr. Kothurkar at that time. He happened to be the duty officer and happened to be there. And he was watching how these new cadets are having their lunch. As we started, I was given envelope. It was closed. There was a telegram inside. Captain Kothurkar said, Mr. Kothurkar said, read it. I opened it, read it. It was a telegram from my phone. And I was asked whether I was really serious enough to continue and embark on this career. I knew it was my mother. She was absolutely dead against my joining this profession, which does not give a university degree. So it was totally rejected by her. But my father was shrewd. He was a lawyer. He wanted to inform your decision. Kothurkar asked me, is anything the matter? I told him briefly what happened. He said it's a damn good career. He used the word damn. Today I'm glad I followed his advice. Later, in the breakfast meeting, just 2 months back, I again attended that meeting. It was thanks to Arvind Mukhe. He helped me. I never used to attend that. And he cooperated very well, arranged my attendance that day. So I told him, I reminded him, I said, this is what had happened that time. And you told me it's a damn good career. He said, you still think so? He was alert and jovial always. I call it Joy the Weaver. The Joy the Weaver was clearly apparent on his face, always. He's here of the gap, as we all know. And maybe that's why he was called SMARTIE. However, expectations of keep on changing. Teaching techniques changes. Teaching technique changes. But the need of a teacher remains. Technique has changed so many times. Today, last course I did on the path of February. I don't know. That fellow said, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Next day, the boss of that institute called me. He explained to me, and I understood something, and then gave me the certificate. That was the last time I did any test. I said, no more appearing. I have swallowed the anchor now. No more. The technique changes. But the deal of a teacher doesn't change. Bhagavan Krishna gave that advice to Arjuna to fight. But he himself required teaching. He attended Sandipari Ashram. It was not all the knowledge came to him. Bhagavan Ram also attended Swami Ashram. They also required teaching institute of those days. Teaching institutes are required. And the cadets or students of teaching institutes are not the only ones who are proud of it.
Even the fuel who works there, even the crew who used to work on the film, were proud of that. They were very proud. I remember many of those used to come in their shorts and uniform daily and go back. When today we are gathering here not to express our grief, but to gratitude for it. He was mentorship of Captain Kothurkar has left a lasting legacy on all his days. Not just in the classrooms or on the quarterdeck of the training ship, but even beyond that. A smart salute to that SMARTIE.
Anyone else? Wish to, I think, someone online.
Somebody wants to say anything?
Nimish Pradhan, Captain Nimish Pradhan.
Captain
Captain Nimish Pradhan wants to say something. He's online.
Yeah, yeah. Good evening, all. Good evening, gentlemen, everybody. I am Captain Nimish Pradhan, 82-83 batch. My batchmates Nalin and Sanjay have already spoken. Well, as far as we know, Captain Kothurkar was our captain superintendent. Actually, he was the Noah who got us on the ark, and from there we went out to sea. Uh, Personally, being a very close friend of Mahesh, I was associated. I met Captain Kothurkar n number of times even after I passed out. Uh, in fact, the day I got my second mate's orals, he was the first one to congratulate me because from the first floor, I went up to his office on the second floor and told him that I passed. So he was one of the first persons to congratulate me there. And as far as the training part and Rajendra was concerned, there's one lesson which I will never forget. I used to run the canteen, and it was on a typical evening that the canteen was in a bit of a mess with all the cadets coming in the canteen, and he came in, and he straight away, he told me, he says there is that shrine in Tokyo, and he says there's something like 2 lakh people come a day, but yet it is always sparkling. Because, well, that was enough, to make me feel that, well, I have to pull up my socks and get things. So, as strict disciplinarian as he was, and I kept meeting him all through my time whenever I used to come to Bombay on leave. And well, even he was in Bombay as well. I used to meet him very frequently in DG Shipping or McKinnon's office when he was there. He was in Masa at that time. I remember the year the way when I got promoted as chief officer. Uh, I went and met him and I told him, I said, I've become a chief officer. And he told me, son, you've got to be strict now. You can't be this popular fellow anymore. It was a big lesson it was a game changer in my life. After that, all my achievements, he was probably one of the first person that I ever called up and said, sir, I passed. All my personal engagements also, he was there for memories I have, was there not only for for my wedding and, for every function that I used to have, he would be one of the first I would invite. It was just out of love, and I remember once going to Mahesh's house for a night over, and went on the piss. And I don't know, Mahesh will still recall that he says, he says, Kaka was a personality, is a personality, and you said that something like 200 times. I don't know, I was drunk. So that was one part of it. Uh, the last thing before I conclude, I would like to say, that I met him in March. I went to invite him for my son's wedding. And the man who had training in his heart, probably was his DNA. And amongst all the things, we spoke a lot. And amongst all the things that we spoke, that he told me, how's the training these days on ship? How are the trainees coming out? And that speaks volumes, for somebody. I mean, for me personally, I just can't believe that he is no more. But well, he's called for higher services, they say. And I'm sure he'll do a great job there as well. Thank you, Chairman.
Shrikant Limay.
That's favorite.
Shrikant Limay.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I am Shrikant Limay, 72-74 batch. As all of you know, like when we joined as cadet, at that time, Captain Kothurkar was chief officer. So there used to be not hardly any interaction with chief officer. It so happened that he had not taught much to my batch, excepting once I think he took ROR class. And I still remember, like, two ships meeting head on. So he said, why alter course to starboard? So he said, one reason also could be that if at all one ship has to go astern, then with his right-handed propeller, the bows will go to starboard only. So that is why probably he said we keep to starboard. Otherwise, earlier, before that, I used to think that in America, they drive on the right-hand side. So that is why we alter course to starboard. It makes some sense. Then after my marriage, it's, my in-laws and Kothurkars, they were friends. In fact, my mother-in-law was a good friend of Mrs. Kothurkar before their marriage, and my father-in-law was friend of Captain Kothurkar. In fact, my in-laws, I believe, fixed up their marriage. They invited their mutual friends and 4 of them met at the table. So after my marriage, I used to go quite often to his house, probably once in a year or so. And I remember that, whenever, first initially he will, always start the conversation with training. How is it going nowadays? And it was also coincidence that when I took up the shore job, I, joined Chanakya only for training. Then I went in LBS. And even today, I am still in training only. So whenever I used to meet him, he used to always talk of training. He had some good ideas in his mind. He said that if everybody joins as a trainee seaman, and then those who can pass the exam, they will become officers. So that way there will be more camaraderie on the ship. People may know each other and all that. I remember he thought of this, giving this suggestion. But overall, he was a very good man, very upright, highly principled. My wife used to tell me that when he was on Bhadra, that training ship Bhadra, they had a garden of their own and they used to cook vegetables. So he had told Mrs. Kothurkar, you cannot take any vegetable from here. Whatever is required for the house, you have to buy from the market. He was very honest, very upright, and a very jovial fellow. I'll also always miss him. And thanks. Tumhala moksha prapto ho. Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else on the? Is there anyone else on the bridge who wants to speak?
From the engine room. Right. Okay. Now let the commander speak.
Yeah.
Engine एक
My batch, they wrote a tribute to him. Many of you have read it, but I think this occasion I must read it again. It's written by Captain Sarvameshwar from Singapore, and he has got art of making poetry using ChatGPT. So, Smooth Sailing SMARTIE, a naval tribute to Captain A.P. Kothurkar from the Lieutenant Batch
of 1968-70. We still remember that morning clear when lads of 16-17 stood here. On Dufferin's deck, our voyage began, new to the sea, to discipline, to sun. From city lanes, small towns and fields, he came with dreams and nervous shields. Lost and adrift in that early breeze, till the word passed by, SMARTIE if you please. Boats struck the plank, the quarterdeck hushed, the chatter ceased, young pulses rushed. There he stood, crisp, calm and keen, a mariner made of salt and sheen. With his steady helm and seaman's art, he shaped our minds and steeled each other's heart. He taught us knots, commands and pride, and how to sail with the wind and tide. 2 years under his watchful eye turned green boys into men who would fly across the oceans far and wide as master of ships, his SMARTIE as guide. Now 5 long decades down the trail, his voice still echoes in every gale. The compass he set still points us straight, still points us right, through calm, through storm, through darkest night. So, Captain, as you cross the final bar, may fair winds bear you where good souls are. Your watch is done, your course well run. Rest easy, SMARTIE, the voyage is won. I also had interaction in Pune, and we just remembered the other day when I gone to Madhya's house that I had done catering for my house for Manoj's son's first year birthday, and then one more occasion, Captain Cook and Captain Cook.
Right. Come on.
Good evening, everybody. It's really a heavy heart, but good to see so many numbers from Dufferin Rajendra Court. And training is everywhere the same, I guess. The people who come in time sit in the last bench. I think Dufferin also is same here. When it comes to Captain Kothurkar, there are a few fond memories, many fond memories rather. But one-liners were his famous ones. That anyone who came to him to take an advice for joining Merchant Navy, he would say, "तुमने घी देखा है लेकिन बड़गा नहीं देखा." तो घी है बहुत छोटा है, बड़गा बहुत बड़ा है. So it is a difficult life. He used to say this is the second most difficult profession after mining, and that's one thing stayed in my mind. Probably that's the reason I joined the Navy. I said leaving away for 6 months plus probably may not be the right thing for me. So I had to find another thing for myself. Whenever I met on the ships, the pilots who were 90% students from Dufferin and Rajendra, and they would say, "Hey, why don't you join Merchant Navy?" I said, "I mean, my uncle used to say, तुझा देशासाठी, बाकीचे सगळे आमच्या खिशासाठी. The Merchant Navy, you earn money for the country. You go and spend it for the nation." A very interesting thing I heard about the laundry bag. I had a similar experience with him when he was Capt of Bhadra. And I'm sure you all know he was in love with books, his leather-bound books, his library, and his LP records. He had a collection of LP records, old Hindi songs and Shastriya Sangeet. And 1 hour, once he told me, how to take the record out, wipe it, and how do you actually store the records for a long life. And the kind of belongingness he has for all this was really remarkable. But the way he taught me was something I remember when we talked about laundry. Uh, the, um, the other thing is the one-liner about him is he's not a person, he's a personality, which stayed with me. Nimish's one-liner, maybe a couple of drinks down, and he said it 200 times. He's very generous. Okay, probably it was 1,000. So that is the one-liner which has stayed with me about that. And the last one from the professional point of view, I was decided to join an 82-83 batch for agenda, but circumstances were different, and I joined the Naval Academy. There, he called me once from Rajendra, and there was a new software, there were records, and it was the rule of the road animated software. And he showed me that, and literally he showed me each and every rule and how it is to be recited. And he had everything by heart. I was just holding the rule of the road book, and he had everything by heart. So it's a fond memory for me. My command exam in the Indian Navy also, I had the whole rules by heart right from that day. And the last thing I would like to say, he was friends, a lot of favorites. People say he didn't have favorites, but his words, I think, were his favorites, friends. He was so friends with words, whether English or Marathi. In Marathi, I said, आम्ही म्हणायचो कोटी कोटी कवीन कोट्या असे ते कोटी भास्कर होते. Any word you give it to him, he would twist and make fun out of it. Whether it is weak or weak, that is one of his favorite, twisting of the words. So that's how he was my role model right from the young days. I emulated him even when I wore the stockings on my naval uniform. The way he used to wear the stockings, I wore the same way. So let's celebrate his passing off and his 96 years of life. And good to see so many of them on the Zoom bridge or Google Meet bridge. So it's a bridge also here, where he was very known for. Thank you.
I love you all. I really respect you all. I really had told you are touched that so many people could remember Captain Kothurkar. My father. But I think he just touched my life singularly, but I am really amazed to see how many people's life is touched and influenced. I never knew my father. My father, but to you guys who joined the Dublin at tender ages, that a teacher could leave an impression on somebody, that a teacher could touch so many lives with such normal, simple things, laundry bags and how to hold a fork and knife, or whatever things I took for granted, that these are the things that every teacher teaches. Rule of the roads, it's in the book, learn it by heart. I really am amazed, and I'm so touched with the amount of thought that you people have given to this one Captain A.P. Kothurkar, born at very ordinary circumstances in the year 1930, but from that ordinary village boy, today what I see all of you esteem such well-established people, what you have to say of such a human being.
I think as a son, I have to bow my head and say thank you. I will have my own remembrances of my father, but he has shaped you all into the modern merchant navy that India has today to boast of. Without you, now I have to say, without their training, Hazari, Kothurkar, Bhandarkar, Kansara, SK Puri, KK Puri, the names can just keep coming out. But I'm sure all of you, these are the people who shaped modern Indian shipping as we know it. Now that Captain Kothurkar has gone, one age has gone probably without Bhandarkar a few years back. And slowly, I think now Indian shipping made with the training. I think training has completely changed. There's no more single Rajendra, single Dufferin that churned out these boys and girls. I was going to say no boys, but I'm the only engineer in this group, so I will talk from down below. Okay, hello, Captain. Let's go ahead. Not good. Let's go ahead. But one-liners. I was surprised, with you. I said, Mike, okay, you've paid your last rights. You have come to the hospital. And I said, okay, it's all right. I'm going to take a lot of time in billing. So you've paid your last rights. He said, no, I'm going to stay. I said, excuse me, why are you going to stay? Just because you know there has to be some reason for you to stay for somebody. Then he told me the story of, and I said, wow, when somebody tells you a story of why they are close to the person who has passed away, then you start thinking, wow, this was a wow moment of my life. There are so many people, but when they tell you small, the laundry bag, that is a beautiful thing. Even till the last day of his life, all his clothes were properly placed in that laundry bag. So that my maid servant didn't have to hunt here and there. She would go pick up the clothes. And after drying them, he would fold each and every pajama, each and every kurta and put it in his cupboard. He didn't allow the maid servant. So till the last day of his life, 5th October was the time when he started going into his decline. But till that last day, 5th October, that man folded his own clothes, gave his own clothes for dry. And SMARTIE, they didn't call him for nothing. When I see this photograph, I also didn't know what SMARTIE was. My wife told me that she would fall in love with this type of man any time but she got the chance. So I am blessed and I'm so happy that he could. And I have to thank the breakfast group for this. This breakfast group has really done. We would dress up early morning, 8 o'clock. He was ready, and I would bring him down the elevator, and then we would wait for the car. Captain Mogi would be there, or Captain Katre. So, yeah. So we would be there, and they would drop him back to the place, and he would, every day, that well dressed, always saying, Manoj, am I looking all right? Manoj? I mean, throughout the elevator ride, he was really trim, proper. Only thing, he couldn't wear shoes. So that was the only limitation, and he felt a little bit ashamed, like my cadets will see me without shoes. So yeah, he was a person, and now I will use the word personality too. I'm forced to use this word personality. I would not, I'm very modest, all of us are great. But yes, the amount of messages I've been receiving or I've been getting, I am forced now to agree with Nimish that yes, he was a personality. And thank you all for being a part of this remembrance meeting. I would love you all to stand up and remember Captain Mogi, we had set the Dufferin off. We are on the road, that's the anthem, right? So, Captain Subhadar, please, you are request. I hope you all know it. Yeah. Everybody starts. This will record. This I will record.
The Dufferin song.
1 minute. So 1 minute. Let me start my recording. This I will record. Okay. Okay. Start.
We're on the road.
We're on the road to anywhere. Never forget. Home, home, and for everything, the good Lord sent me on the road to anywhere. And every mile to stay, and the road to anywhere, the road to anywhere, it's all everywhere.
Thank you very much. Tea and coffee.
Thank you. That was the best. I was waiting for this song to be good.
Yes, I lost that video.
Manoj, can you just thank people on the
Okay,
on the bridge?
On the bridge, everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you Sanjay, thank you Meghna, thank you Sanjay Saxena, thank you Manoj Arora, thank you Shrikant, Nilakshi, Sharmila, thank you all. Thank you for being with us.
Tea and coffee are in Hello, everybody. Hello.